Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. We just finished up listening to some math rock. We're going to be moving into a special selection. That's where one of you tell me exactly what I need to check out. Today's suggestion comes at us from Christopher. The Contortionist, The Source, Rediscovered. Let's get into this. Let's see. I was kind of wondering if Rediscovered is a part of the title, or if maybe this is a remaster or a re-recording of it or such. But there's no info here, and it's not an official page. So I don't know. Let's dive in and see what's going on. Oh, actually, it says right here, this is a video contained in the Rediscovered edition of Language. I assume Language is the album. So I'm not sure what this Rediscovered edition is, but I don't know. Let's see what's going on. We got this ambient sound coming in. It's quiet and really sparse, but volume-wise, it's actually not that much lower than what the height is going to be on the song. So it doesn't. Yeah, I'll get into that. It's a mixed thing. I talk about that too much, anyways. I'll probably just ignore it today. Yeah, I like the use of the delay pedal to create these like ambient textures with the guitar. We have some odd cymbal hits. Yeah, so our reverb is doing eighth notes. So we're in a nice 5/4 right here. And it really allows this section to breathe, holding out that opening chord that comes on beat 1. Just that extra beat before we do our transition chord on beat 5, before landing on our next primary chord, key chord, on beat 1 again. Beautiful music, excellent breath control there on the vocalist, holding that out and still giving it a bigger boost on the end of that hold. Right here I'm feeling 6, but I wonder if we've just entered a triplet movement, keeping in that 5/4 idea. we've entered 4-bar phrases in the 6, so we're out of the 5 at least. I'd actually say we shifted from 5/4 to 3/4. And it's so seamless too. I think they did a fantastic job transitioning. Haunting elements to the music, and of course putting a lot of that energy and passion into the vocals. I love the ways the guitars were layering there at the end to create that final atmosphere. Beautiful stuff. I think I've heard Contortionist before, though. Actually, twice now. Dang. So we've done Flourish, and we did Language 1. And both of those were last year. Yeah, that was gorgeous. I wonder if Rediscovered is possibly maybe not necessarily acoustic, but more chill reinterpretations of their other work. Like I said, I don't quite remember exactly. I don't really have a sound that I'm associating with their name, but for some reason, this style of music is not what I'm thinking of when I think of the name Contortionists. I'm thinking something a little heavier, a little rockier. So I do think it would be really cool if they did an entire album recontextualizing their music, sort of like how some bands do acoustic albums, but this would be not acoustic. We're still using some electric instruments, I think. Let me double check that real quick. Oh, no, there is an acoustic guitar in here. The bass is electric. I'm going to be honest, I was not paying attention to the visuals. Oh, well, we also have the keyboards. They're not acoustic. Do we only have the one guitarist? Oh, no, both guitarists are acoustic. So it is sort of an acoustic rendition then. Yeah, I was paying complete attention to the music. There's some really cool things going on in there, and I was not looking at what instruments were being played. So we do have two acoustic instruments, an electric bass, a keyboard, and then we had that sampler. Oh, I guess it was another keyboard that the singer used for a moment when they weren't singing. And then the drums. So, yeah, like 50-50 on the acoustics. We have an acoustic drum set and acoustic guitars, and then electric bass and electric keyboards. All right. I kind of want to go listen to the original first and kind of see the differences between this, but I think we're just going to dive in here. So, this is a beautiful, gorgeous song that plays around a ton with uh, atmosphere and atmospheric textures created through a combination of sparse melodic work with chords under it. The drumming, I think, does a fantastic job of keeping the rhythm. Not really too many flourishes, but I think it also fits what they're going for here. Um, I if in my assumption that this is an acoustic rendition of a song, I think that we might see more flourish in the drumming in that version. But for this, with the way that it's set up, with the vibe they're going for, I think it fits perfectly well for the drummer to really sit in the pocket and just hold down the rhythm, the time for everybody else. I do think it's interesting, though. I'm going to come back to this. That only the guitars were changed from electric to acoustic. That is that's real interesting. I mean, I don't know. It's an interesting choice because we still have a lot of the synthy stuff going on with the keyboards that provide almost I don't know, it clashes a little bit with this the style that they're going for. However, at the same time, it also elevates it because it's working within the same ideas. It's this interesting middle ground that I'm not quite sure how I feel after a first listen. I'm sure maybe after a second or third, when I know what I'm in for, it won't be as odd to me. But coming from that angle of this being an acoustic version, it's interesting they're still using a lot of digital stuff to augment it in some ways. All right, let's dive into some of the music stuff here. Um, so a lot of this song is built off of guitar work and electronic synthy stuff, creating a sound floor. I mean, the bass is in there too, but creating a sound floor really in the pop sense of creating a space for the vocals to sing over. The vocals, I feel, are extremely passionate. They're very heartfelt. And I would say that the vocalist has a lot of connection to the words, which I suppose is kind of a weird thing to say. Why would a vocalist sing a song about something they don't care about? But I feel like some songs you can just feel when the words mean something extremely close to, the vocalist. So, yeah, the whole song is kind of built around that. That doesn't mean that I'm diminishing what the instruments are doing. There's actually some really cool layering I'm going to be talking about in a bit, but it is set up, especially in the mix, and the way that the song's constructed, to allow this platform for the vocalist to sing on top of, for them to present the language message. Um, and in that, I think the vocals just do a fantastic job. It really makes me intrigued on how they are in the original version, but they're very subdued, almost very quiet and withheld, except for key moments when you can just feel this connection, this passion coming out through the vocals. And some of that is done through uh, some very strong vocal technique, like with the louder held note. He holds it for 2 or 3 bars at least, and then even at the end, he pushes through a little further, gets a little bit more volume out of it. I think he almost cracks the note a little bit as well, just to put a little bit of that human flair into it, and then comes off of it with a little run. It was like 2 or 3 notes, just a little flair as he ends this impressive, held out note. Um, Other times it's about little inflections he puts on words or syllables that give them extra emphasis. It's a really interesting vocal delivery that he has. It's very much his. Um, he's going for more of that soft spoken type of vocal delivery. It's something we've seen before, but he puts his own little spin on it and uses dynamics in several ways to create moments of inflection and to deliver specific words or phrases in the way that he feels they need to be delivered to portray the emotion that he wants to get out. I think it's fantastically done, every bit of it. It's gorgeous, it's powerful, and I think that's exactly what they're going for from that angle. I mentioned the drumming, pretty standard all throughout. Does a fantastic job sitting in the pocket, keeping the tempo. Um, Now, to the guitars and the synths. I think these are the most important aspect of the song, even though the vocals are taking the spotlight. They're the main aspect, I would say. The vocals can't do what they're doing without the foundational work provided by our melody instruments. I think it's interesting that they take almost a minute and a half maybe at the beginning to just have these ambient tones. We have the synthesizer, I think, holding out some stuff, and we have these guitars with reverb effects going on, providing these very sparse, maybe 6 or 7 notes when you take into account the reverb, and then taking several bars off afterwards. And it's just these little sparse moments of energy, of direction. Otherwise, we really just sit with this synth sound for quite some time. And I think it's awesome that the song starts out so quietly, so slowly. I don't know what the song title means of the source, but it feels like we are seeing the beginning of something. I don't know what the something is, but it's definitely the beginning of it. We have just basically this drone, this humming, and then these little sparks of life. And then eventually the song opens up. And as the song progresses, we see even more of these elements opening up. We have more energy. By the end of the song, we're at a high point, if I remember correctly, compared to everything else that happened throughout the song. So to me, there's this element of seeing the birth of something, an idea, maybe the birth of something metaphysical, maybe it's the birth of something metaphorical. But it's really cool to kind of see this opening. I don't think the song would hit as hard without that beginning minute or so, even though I casually feel like it drags on. Artistically speaking, though, it does what it needs to do and does it very well. Now, the guitars, the two of them, they tend to play complementary works. Sometimes we have a simple melody line over chord movements. Sometimes we have, um, I don't know if I should call it counterpoint because they tend to be riffs, but I guess a riff could be a counterpoint. It's not a linear melodic line, but it's not like chords providing harmony either. Um, just a cyclical melodic line. But yes, we have two guitar parts that are doing their own things, but they're lining up in specific ways and creating a very cool final product, so to speak. You can listen to both of the guitar parts alone. I don't think they're as effective. When they come together, it is this beautiful combination that they create, accenting different parts of the measure and working within each other's silence and gaps and stuff like that to create this beautiful combined melody line that I think works very well. I think that was mostly in the second half. The first half, when we were still in five, the I think it was melody and chords, and when we shifted over to the three, that's when we saw the dual melody line. The bass The bass was like the drums, providing a bit of support in the rhythm section and really laying down, emphasizing important beats, usually doing something along the same lines as the drums. Um, I don't remember what beats the drum was emphasizing. Oh, when we were in the 5/4, the drums were emphasizing every beat, which was interesting. We didn't really have much of a semblance of measure length. I knew where the beats were, but without any strong accents, I didn't know how many beats per measure we were, beats per bar we were in. It was really up to me listening to the cycles in the guitars to find out that we were doing 5 beats per measure. When we switched over to the 3, though, the drums switched over to a bit more sparse. We had an alternating bass kick and a snare hit on if we were in the 6, we'd have the 1 2 3 4 5 6, and we'd have, I think bass kick was on 1 and snare hit was on 4, and we were having this alternating bass and snare thing with a cymbal going throughout them. I think the cymbal was doing every eighth note, every eighth beat, um, and the bassist was emphasizing the same things. We had that 1 and 4 idea, but they were doing something with a little bit more flourish. I can't remember what the exact rhythm was, but they were emphasizing those 2 beats while also, I think they were holding out a second note on the beat after or something like that. Or maybe they had a pickup note into that downbeat. I don't remember. But yeah, basically the bass and the drums though, they were working in tandem to create a really nice groove for the guitars, to create a really nice atmosphere alongside the keyboard, which all presented a platform for the vocalist to express themselves over. It's a phenomenal merging of ideas where each instrument houses utilizes a separate role or has a separate role within the song, and just executes on that role very well. The ending result is a song that does a lot with a little. I don't really know if there's much else that I could talk about specifically that I heard. It is, in a sense, a bit of a simple song, but like I said, it does a lot with a little. The end result is a lot more powerful than any of the individual elements that I just broke down. Everything does come together to create a very moving piece, I would say. There's a lot of power behind this. Um, and I think a lot of it would go unnoticed. The vocalist does take center stage, and there isn't really anything that's happening in the drums or guitar or anything that's really going to steal the attention from the vocalist. And I think kind of a blessing and a curse, depends on your angle here. Uh, Blessing, it keeps the focus on what is the focus of the song and allows everything else to be the foundational work, to be the periphery of the main focus. And in that sense, it works expertly. But on another sense, the curse would be that everything else kind of gets pushed to the wayside, and I don't think it gets appreciated as much as it should be because it is done exceptionally. It's done so well at blending in and being a part of the background that I think a lot of people who might listen to this might miss out on some of the cool intricacies that are allowing such a strong foundation to be created for the vocals to sing over. So, yeah. Really cool stuff though. Very tempted to go check out. Let me see something real quick. Contortionist. The source. Wait, what? The source is only a 2-minute song? Alright. Let's dive into this. Let's bring up the original. Not what I was expecting. I also was not expecting the Rediscovered to be thrice as long. Alright, so yeah, a lot of the vocals. Oh man, the volume's been off. I'm sorry about that, guys.
Washed over
Ooh, that's an interesting color to land on. That was the end of the song. Um, yeah, I apologize about that. I didn't realize the music volume was muted. So yeah, basically it's the same song vocally, but they've kind of adapted a lot of the piano works into guitar elements and introduced a bit of a stronger emphasis on the drums and bass, which I don't think were really present at all there. All in all, though, I will say that I think this one has its place, but I think the rediscovered version is the one I greatly prefer. I think it's a deeper exploration of the song and of the vocals, what they're going for, creating a richer atmosphere and texture for the vocals to sit within. Um, but like I said, this one has its place. I wouldn't say one is better than the other. I just have a preference for one. I think the rediscovered one is more fleshed out. Um, I will leave a link to both of these in the description if you want to go check out the original version with audio this time. You can check that one out. Again, my apologies for botching that. Yeah, so I think that wraps this one up. Those are my thoughts on the Contortionists, the source, rediscovered, and a very little bit about the source itself, the source original. That's where you guys come and know. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you thought about this one, if you enjoyed it or not. Anything that might have stuck out to you that I didn't touch on, go ahead and drop those kind of comments. Above the comment section is a description box, and there's a link for Linktree, which will take you to anything you want related to the channel. You can find links to my Twitter, my Patreon, the Discord community, my email address, all that stuff is in Linktree. Above that, if you could, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. I'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. UTC. We'll be looking at another math rock track and another special selection. All right, until next time, as usual, remember, be critical but not cynical of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening whenever you choose to watch my videos.